Alrighty, here we go. On to the next type of question. So it is a line, oh no, it's a question without a line reference. Okay, so what do? You don't want to go spend 5 minutes looking for where the answer is. Okay, so actually let's do this on the test. Look at number 6. Okay, this is what such a question looks like. In the passage, Akira addresses Chi with, where do we go? I don't know. So what we want to do is we want to pick out some key phrase that's going to help us find easily and quickly where to go in the passage. It's a very short question. It only says Akira addresses Chi. So let's go to where Akira addresses Chi. We start in the beginning. And it's actually pretty easy because we know there's going to be quotation marks. So Akira addressing Chi, and in line 31 it says, Madam, forgive my disruption, but I come with a matter of urgency. And that's where Akira starts to address Chi. And then we can just read just a little bit. I think we can probably get a vibe very quickly. He says, his voice was soft, refined. He straightened and stole a deferential peek at her face. In the dim light, his eyes shone with sincerity. Chi felt herself starting to like him. Come inside, get out of this nasty night. Surely your business can wait for a moment or two. I don't want to trouble you. Normally I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as a dentist for Seattle's Japanese community. I'm going to just stop there because that's where he's talking to her, and you can kind of get the sense of how he speaks with her. And I would say, if I had to summarize it, which we always do when we read, I would say he's very polite. I don't want to trouble you. Normally I would approach you more properly, right? So I'm going to look for something that means polite. So we go back to the answer choices, and in this question, if you notice, each answer choice has 2 parts. So there's a first word and then a second half. I'm only going to go to the first words of each answer. It's going to move me through this much more quickly. Okay, so does affection mean polite or come close to polite? No, not at all. He's not affectionate. That's too intimate. Objectivity, polite, I don't know if it means exactly that, but I think it's close enough. I'm going to leave that one in. Amusement, absolutely not. There's no amusement. He's serious and he's polite. And respect, I like. So we got rid of A and C. We have B and D. Now we can just do the second half of B and D. Now, B says not complete impartiality. Now I'm going to pretend that I do not know the word impartiality, so there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to deal with objectivity. All right, I'm going to go to D and look at the second half of D. Uh-oh. I don't know deference either. What do? I just deal with the first words, right? So what do I like better? Do I like objectivity better, or do I like respect better? Personally, I like respect better. I think it's closer to polite than objectivity is. So I'm just going to choose D. And you know what? D is right. So remember in the introductory video when I said, you don't exactly have to know what you're doing and you can still get answers right? This is a perfect example of that. I didn't know 2 out of the 4 words and I was able to get the answer right. So I don't want you to worry if you don't know the meanings of things or if you don't know what a paragraph means. Really don't worry about it. Go with what you do know, and that will very often get you the right answer. All right, let's move on. Let's go to number 25. So that is 2 passages away. Number 25 says, the author's main purpose of including the information about X-ray evidence and density is to. Now, strategy. Look at the number 24. It's a line reference finder that leads us to lines 12 through 19. Look at number 26. That's also a line reference finder that leads us to lines 29 and 30. So probably in between there is where this answer is. Now, I am also going to look at a key phrase so I know what I'm looking for, right? And the key phrase in number 25 is X-ray evidence and density. Okay, so I'm going to go to like 19, somewhere around there, and see if I can find X-ray evidence and density. And, well, there it is. Actually, it's line 18. It says, however, the density taken with the X-ray evidence suggests very strongly that there are two. Now, what are there two of? I don't know. Let's read one more sentence so we get better context. Okay, so up at line 15 it says, it has often been assumed that since there was only one chain in the chemical formula, there would only be one in the structural unit. However, the density taken with the X-ray evidence suggests very strongly that there are two. So now there are two chains. That's what we're talking about. We have a little bit more of that context. So we want an answer that says there are two chains. Back to 25. Okay, what answer says there are two chains? And rather than reading them all out loud, if you just look, you can see C says number of chains. All right, it doesn't say two chains, but it says the number of chains, and no other answer talks about chains. So C is clearly our answer. Okay? So that is how you proceed. You don't just look at their answers. You read, you summarize, you get an idea in your own head, and let that guide you to the answers, because you know, they have a lot of sucker answers in there. They have crafted their answers carefully. So you don't want to fall into their trap. You have to be armed with your own understanding. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do number 35. It's the next passage. And it reads, according to the passage, Wolfe chooses the setting of the bridge because it... So we want the setting of the bridge. Okay, that's our phrase. We want something about the bridge. We go back to the passage. If we look right up at the top, close at hand is a bridge over the River Thames. So we're reading the first paragraph. That's where the bridge is. I'll continue. An admirable vantage ground for us to make a survey. The river flows beneath. Barges pass, laden with timber, bursting with corn. There on one side are the domes and spires of the city. On the other, Westminster and the Houses of Parliament. It is a place to stand on by the hour, dreaming. But not now. Now we are pressed for time. Now we're here to consider facts. Now we must fix our eyes upon the procession of the sons of educated men. So if I was to summarize this, I'd say she's on the bridge. She's looking, she's just describing what she sees. Here on this side of the river is this, here's the city, here's the Houses of Parliament, there's rivers and barges and stuff on the barges. And normally we would stand here and we dream and reflect, but not now, because now we are pressed for time. Now we're looking at some procession. It's the sons of educated men. Okay, we go back to the question. Why does she choose the bridge? And if we look, we see, I'm just going to shortcut this and say that B literally just says exactly what it says at the end of the paragraph. It provides a good view of the procession of the sons of educated men. Now, I want to point out how they created the other answers to give you a mind into the test makers. A is a sucker answer. It's conducive to a mood of fanciful reflection. Well, it does say that, but then right after it says, but not now. So you have to catch that context. C says historic episodes. That's there to pull you in because they talk about Westminster and the Houses of Parliament. And yeah, those are historic buildings, but they're not historic episodes, right? So episodes is the wrong word there in C. And then D talks about sons of educated men. Oh, that pulls you in nice, doesn't it? But it doesn't say anything about legacy or symbolism or the past, right? All of that is wrong. So if you start really getting used to thinking, what is wrong with this? What is the word or words that just screw up this answer? You will start to see them. They will start to pop off the page, and you will start crossing out answer choices and saying, I know that's not right because that word is wrong. Okay, that's where you should be eventually, is just starting to be very critical in that way.